And Mets get set to square off for the second game of the series. Well, victory in the first game of the series belonged to the Colorado Rockies. It also marked their 1,000th victory here in Denver, Colorado. And another important number, victory number 1 for Jon Gray in his career. He's been pitching great in the month of May. For more on that, let's get it to our play-by-play team, Drew Goodman and Jeff Houston. Guys.
Jenny, we thank you very much. Jon Gray had a little bounce in his step around the field this afternoon, and deservedly so. He had pitched, as you mentioned, exceedingly well on the road, but he was trying to get over the hump here at home. Not only did he do it in a stupendous performance, but he did it against the defending National League champs. It was a good night for Jon.
Well, he wasn't scared of Friday the 13th for sure, because he went out there last night and he owned the night. Not only did he get his first major league hit, first major league win, 7 innings, 8 strikeouts during this affair, and he was just as strong on his 105th pitch as he was on his first pitch. 8 strikeouts with a lot of sliders working. The emotion was running extremely high for Jon, and rightfully so. Very
quickly, it was not just a good night. He has top of the rotation stuff. He was 97, 98 throughout the evening with that wipeout slider. That is what top of the rotation guys look like.
And matching up against Matt Harvey too. So you had a little bit of that going. And tonight it's going to be Eddie Butler's turn to try to match what Jon did last night. And for Eddie, he's coming off one of his better performances, 2 of his career. In San Francisco, 6 innings pitched, a career high, 6 strikeouts in the Mother's Day affair against the Giants. Look for him to match that again tonight. He's also looking for a win here at Coors Field, something that he has not had since April of last year.
Well, it's kind of similar to last night, what we're talking about with Jon Gray. Eddie has turned a corner. He's pitched very well out on the road, and now he wants to do it here in a start. So Eddie Butler has the baseball tonight. The Rockies getting ready to take on the Mets, trying to make it 3 straight at home. Colorado, New York, come on back to Coors Field with us. Tonight from lower downtown Denver, game 2 of this 3-game set between the Rockies and the Mets. Yesterday, the Rockies snapped an 11-game losing streak against New York. And with their victory 8-7 on Wednesday, they now have an opportunity to win 3 straight, go 3-2 on the 6-game homestand. Eddie Butler bounding his way to the Coors Field mound. And Butler will be opposed tonight by Logan Verrett, making a spot start because Steven Matz was scheduled to go. He has tenderness in his elbow. He's been pushed back. So it's Eddie Butler and Logan Verrett, and the lineup for the Mets will be very similar to the one that John Gray put down last night. Curtis Granderson was 1 for 4 yesterday. He had a double. He's got an average of 207, struggling in May after a pretty solid April. That's been consistent up and down the lineup for the Mets. And here is the rest of their lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. David Wright will bat second. Michael Conforto third. Jonas Cespedes kept quiet yesterday. Then Lucas Duda, Neil Walker, Asdrubal Cabrera, Kevin Plawecki is catching and batting eighth, and then the pitcher Verrett in the 9th spot. As we take a look at the numbers on Eddie Butler, it'll be his 3rd start. He had a good relief appearance here at Coors Field earlier.
Yeah, so this will be his first official start this year at Coors Field. Whip of .93. Opponents are hitting 200 against Eddie. Lefties at 211, right-handers at 194. And you just see the growth between Eddie Butler and John Gray between last year and this year, and it shows in the numbers. Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. The slider is a very important pitch. Opponents hitting just 118 against that. So look for Eddie to go out there tonight, just like he did in San Francisco, attack the strike zone with the fastball to set that curveball up, that slider up, and just match that performance again.
And he has been throwing a lot of first pitch strikes, which you want. That pitch is down low clearly, ball 1. Well, 1 point in his last start, Eddie was 15 out of 22 with first pitch strikes. Here's the 1-0, and that's on the outside corner. Oh, I guess off the outside corner, 2-0.
That might have been a strike last night within the Subaru strike zone, not tonight. That's real close.
Shift is on for the pull hitter Granderson, and now it's 3-0. I think Chad Bettis started this, but when you look at the Rockies starting pitchers, Butler and Gray, they're all working very quickly.
Love it. Love it, and it's something they've also implemented down in the minor league system, just to get the guys ready so when they come to the big leagues, there's no wasted time in between pitches.
And you get a ground ball to the right side, and Butler over to cover, and they ought to be good at that right now, and here's why. Not only was spring training only 6 weeks ago, but today the Rockies did something we have very rarely seen them do in the past. They didn't take batting practice on the field. They had a full in and out, infield, outfield today, and PFPs, pitchers fielding practice, and they were out there for a while.
It was good to see. 2 weeks ago it was rained out. They had this schedule. They were not able to come out and do it, so Walt called for it again today, where they didn't take batting practice on the field. They did their batting practice in the cage, but worked on the little things. Something that might win you a ball game late in the day.
David Wright at the plate. And a foul tip. It's 0-1. Well, think about this. And you and I were standing with Jeff Bridich during most of that infield outfield today. And one of the things that is unique about baseball, 0-2, is that there are things you work on in spring training for 6 weeks that you almost never revisit because of the number of games during the regular season. And it's kind of odd. I mean,
it's like
you stop practicing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, football, you know, you're not going to not practice a play and then all of a sudden 4 months later put it in a game. For baseball, you need to work on those things that you do in spring training. Today was a prime example of that.
The 1-2 is fouled off by Wright. Here's Eddie, another 1-2, and that is strike 3 on the inside corner.
Something else that the growth of Eddie this year is not just pitching to the outside part of a plate, but he'll come inside now.
And it's firm. Now he throws a hard sinker. It's 94, 95. 2 outs, nobody on for Conforto. Eddie Butler wants to do, just like John Gray last night, is keep this potent Mets offense quiet. After a slow start the first few days of the season, they went bonkers in April, but they have not hit well in the month of May. A lot of their guys hitting below the Mendoza line in May. Conforto is one of those. He's hitting 143 in May after a 365 April.
A lot of strikeouts too, especially on this road trip. 5 consecutive games where they've had 10 or more strikeouts,
which ties the club record. They did it in 2013 as well. And this is a line drive to center field, a base hit for Conforto. That'll bring up Cespedes as we take a look at the gloves for the Rockies tonight. It's Parra in left field. Blackman, errorless baseball in center. Cargo without an error in right. Arenado, no errors at third. Trevor's got 3, but he's played very well. DJ without an error. Mark Reynolds just 1. Tony Walters just 1. The Rockies overall have gone 11 consecutive games without an error. Now second in fielding percentage in the National League to Washington. And they're just a couple of games shy of tying their all-time streak of errorless baseball. Low on Cespedes. So the longest stretch ever was in '98, and then in '97 they went 12 games, and now 11 straight.
Just 14 errors, 989 fielding percentage.
That's high. 2-0 on Cespedes. Not tell you how dangerous this guy is. 11 home runs, tied for the National League lead with Nolan with the 31 RBIs. And this is lined to deep right. Cargo is going to have a play. So a single by Conforto. He's left at first. We'll see the Rockies offensively when we come back. He's red hot. He's 6 for his last 9. He'll lead things off in this scoreless game for the Rockies as they take on Logan Verrett and Walt Weiss in his Southwest batting order. A little bit of a shake-up this evening. Trevor Story will bat second. Nolan's going to slide into that 3 spot. Gerardo Parra will bat cleanup, and for just the 2nd time this year, Cargo's not batting third. He batted second one time this year, sliding him down to the 5th spot. He's been slumping a little bit. Walt said he just wants to take some of the pressure off. Reynolds, LeMahieu, Walters, and Butler round out the lineup as Charlie steps in against Logan Verrett, who has really nice numbers, 3-0, a 1.27 ERA. This is his 3rd start of the year, but his 1st since April 19th. And since then, he's worked 8 times out of the bullpen, an inning, 2 innings at most. So you wonder how long can he go? He's not as stretched out as he was coming out of spring training.
Yeah, they say he has one of those arms that could still throw 60, 70, maybe 80 pitches today, but you just never know from a guy that's sat for so long without starting, because he's the only National League pitcher to have at least 2 starts and 6 relief appearances. Not one of those fireballers that you really think about when you think about the New York Mets, averaging about 90 miles an hour, slider, changeup, curve. His slider, a lot like Eddie Butler's, is it's just getting hit at an 0.87 clip.
Well, that is his go-to pitch, and he made his first career start and got his first career win August 23rd of last year right here at Coors Field. He went 8 innings, and he became the first Mets pitcher and the only Mets pitcher to go 8 innings at Coors Field. He allowed 1 run, just 4 hits. He struck out 8.
And as a rookie.
2-0 on Story. Here's some of the pictures from that start.
This is when he was filling in for Matt Harvey. It's a little bit of everything with the mixture. A high fastball, slider, 4 hits, 8 strikeouts.
Yeah, what'll help is the Rockies didn't know much about him prior. Not an excuse, but reality. And now you have guys like Blackman, Arenado, Cargo, DJ with some familiarity at least.
That helps, because you can watch the video all you want, but stepping in the box is a different story.
This ball hit to deep right's got a chance to get out off the wall. And now you got to run. Cespedes has a gun. Story into second with a double. Talk about staying behind the baseball from a hitter's perspective. Trevor Story does it so well, doesn't he?
He does, and that's something that he's learned in the last 2 years, is to take a pitch and go ahead and drive it the other way. And this one's loud on the Subaru Supermo, squares it up right on the sweet spot of the bat. And all Curtis Granderson can do is look at it, comes off the wall. He makes a pretty strong throw. It was off the mark. Trevor slides in again for another total base, 89 total bases.
And I erroneously said Cespedes. That's Granderson in right field. Cespedes is in center, but Granderson can throw also. So a 1-out double, and that skips to the plate, so it's ball 1 on Nolan. Arenado, 59 games in his career batting third, 283, 16 home runs, driven in 46 in those 59 games. Doesn't matter where you put him. You put him in the 8th spot, he's going to find a way to drive in runs.
He's going to hit. So is my name in the lineup, I'll hit.
And that goes into center field. Story's going to move up. Thank you very much. That'll be an error on Verrett.
So to see on the replay, did this go off at Neil Walker's glove? It is an error on Verrett, but it goes off the end of the glove of Neil Walker on the Subaru Supermo.
Yeah, it should have been caught.
Yeah, it should have been, because he was trying to apply the tag too soon. In any event, runner third and 1 out.
Chance for his 32nd RBI. And this will get it done. Diving stop by Wright. And he'll get Nolan at first, but Nolan got it in play, and the Rockies have a 1-0 lead.
And that'll break the 12-inning scoreless streak as a starter for Logan Verrett. Get the ball in play. Get that first run.
So Parra batting cleanup, and he's hitting a lot of spots in the lineup, but it's just the 2nd time in his career that he has batted cleanup. The other time was earlier this season. And Walt has said, you know, he loves what Parra brings to the ballpark every day, and most of the time he's hit 5th. And he says he may not be the conventional 5-hole guy, because he's not going to hit a ton of home runs. He probably hit, you know, 14 to 18 home runs, which is, you know, pretty solid amount, but, you know, he's not a 25-30 home run guy. But because he gets the ball in play a lot, hits a ton of doubles and a lot of line drives like that, he's fine with him batting 5th.
That's his 45th hit. With 44, he was tied for 6th in the National League. So that tells you that if you hit 4th, 5th, 6th, it doesn't matter, because you're going to have an opportunity to drive in some runs. Or if Nolan or Cargo, when Cargo was hitting 3rd, if those guys drove him in, he's another leadoff hitter.
Sneak in defense for the Mets tonight. Conforto, Cespedes, Granderson, same as last night. Wright, Cabrera, Walker, Duda. Cabrera just 1 error. Walker just 1 error. David Wright has committed 3. Duda with 1 error. Kevin Plawecki's behind the plate. So here's Cargo. He hit a home run last year in the matchup with Verrett. He takes ball 1. Cargo's hitting much higher on the road. Cargo is hitting .328 out on the road. 3 for his last 24 at Coors Field. Modified shift. Neil Walker's, playing the rover. He's 25-30 feet into the outfield grass, but Cabrera has to hang near the bag, so he's somewhat on the left side. Really is a huge opening on that right side up the middle.
It's because of Cargo and how many hits he has to left field too. I know with Neil Walker where he's playing in that short rover position, but if he has to move too far to his right, if he plays that deep, it's going to be a long throw to first. And with Cargo coming out of the box, he has a chance, if that happens, to have an infield single.
1-1. And Cargo hits it, but right at the second baseman, Neil Walker, to end the inning. Rockies scratch out a run. Trevor Story scores it as he had a double. Comes around on an RBI ground out by Arenado. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Bank of the West. For a personal approach to banking, go West. Bank of the West. By your hometown Toyota stores, Toyota, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Rockies with a 1-0 lead at Coors Field. Lucas Duda will be first up against Eddie Butler in the second. The Rockies employ the shift against the big first baseman for New York. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. Carlos Torres is behind home plate. Corey Blazer's at first. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, at second. Rob Drake is at third. Ground ball, foul. Duda listed at 6'4", 256 pounds. It's like a tight end.
He didn't play football at SC, he just played baseball.
I'm sure some of the football coaches said, hey, you know, you ever thought about coming by in the fall. This ball is lined to deep left center field. And it's going to touch down and roll to the wall. Duda's going to have a leadoff double.
Duda, a very streaky hitter. Yesterday he had a base hit to left, and now this double on the slider to left center field. Short compact swing there. You see the strength of Lucas to powder it to the deepest part of the ballpark.
Well, he's played 14 games now against the Rockies, and he has produced a hit in all 14. Walker, the switch hitting second baseman. Eddie sinkers low. Walker was 1 for 3 and a walk last night, a couple of strikeouts against John Gray. Another
guy for the Mets that's hitting below 200 in the last 10 or 11 games. Everywhere you checked in the notes, you just see 180, 190 last 10. 11, 12 games.
He's hitting just 121 his last 11, 4 for 33. But he serves a single the other way. Duda stops at third. And the Mets have something going. First and third, nobody out. I'll bring up Asdrubal Cabrera. Rockies fans, join in on the conversation. Utilize your favorite social media platform with some of your comments. Use the hashtag Toyota Talk, and we'll get some of those Toyota Talk comments during the ball game this evening. Small sample size, but through 6 hitters, Eddie has produced just 1 ground ball.
The leadoff hitter, and Curtis Granderson could use one here.
Sacrifice a run to pick up a couple outs. Duda doubled. He's at third. Walker is at first. It's outside.
Much of a threat to run at first base is Neil Walker.
This is popped up on the infield. 1 out. Now double play gets you out of it with Plawecki, the catcher, coming up.
It's a nice pitch from Eddie to get Cabrera out on his front foot.
Plawecki drove in the only 2 Mets runs last night with a double early in the baseball game. Gave the Mets at the time a 2-0 lead. Rockies would prevail 5-2. Slider just low, evidently.
It was about a half a baseball low on the Subaru strike zone.
is the 2-0.
I like the call, whether it was Eddie's or Tony's. 8th place hitter, 2-0 count. He's hunting the fastball. Instead, though, that's wicked slider.
That had a lot of depth to it.
Dropping 5-6 inches. For a sinking fastball.
Now you can hunt a strikeout and you have Verrett on deck.
Why not throw that slider again?
Milwaukee's been striking out at about a 24% rate, which is slightly above the league average. And that was an attempt to get the swing and miss slider. Now it's 3-2. A lot of times you'll see pitchers, George used to always says, you know, if it's good enough 2-2, it's good enough 3-2.
I totally agree. Throw it again. Well, it's Terry Collins put the runner in motion.
You would think. No, not going, and it's a ground ball to third. Tough pickup. Nolan's not going to have a play. That'll be an infield hit. It's kind of a do or die play. And the Mets tie it up. That would have been a really tough turn, even if Nolan comes up with it. In fact, I don't know if he. Yeah, you think he goes home? That's probably the only place, right?
Yeah, that's his only option. But to try to come up with this and then make the throw to home with the runner going in between hop off the heel of the glove on the Subaru Supermo. I mean, that is one of the tougher plays, especially for a third baseman, when you have that heavy topspin on the baseball.
So Verrett will try to get a bunt down. It's a base hit and an RBI for Plawecki. Logan Verrett is out of Corpus Christi, Texas. Went to Baylor University. Good baseball program at Baylor.
AA ball clubs down in Corpus Christi Hooks.
He offered at it, 0-2.
Tip Tuffle flashing the signs, third base coach for the Mets.
He's a good second baseman. Played on some of those really good Mets teams in the late 80s.
And how many hits did he come through in the clutch for them? A ton.
For that pitch, they took the bunt off. Surprised that Terry Collins didn't put it back on. Oh, he's swinging. Get him to hit a ground ball, play right into the Rockies' hands.
Most of the time you'll see a manager with especially with the pitcher, he's got 2 strikes, just let him go ahead and bunt. If he strikes out or fouls it off, so what? You have your leadoff hitter coming up.
It's an odds thing. Are the odds greater that he's going to get a base hit here, hit into a double play, or get a bunt down? Now he strikes out. 2 outs. That'll bring up Granderson. I'm with you. I'd rather see if he gets the bunt down. Now you have a position player coming up with 2 in scoring position as opposed to 1. If he doesn't, he is struck out, same as he just did swinging. If he puts it in play, I mean, not that he can't get a hit, but you know, you run the risk of him grounding into a double play and your inning's over.
But Terry Collins, 66 years of age, oldest manager in baseball, has his reasons why he did it that way. That's the beauty of baseball. So many different ways to analyze, and
it's all a bunch of opinions. It's never, there's no definitive right answer. We can all look back afterward and say, yeah, they should have done this. That's classic Monday morning quarterbacking. Very likable guy, Terry, who is
good guy to play for.
Yeah, he's had to endure. Again, you played for him in '99. He's had to endure, the wrath for a while of fans. So the Mets weren't winning, but the Mets were operating like a small market team for a while in the aftermath of the Bernie Madoff situation. It really affected the Mets ownership.
Well, even last year, everybody talks about the Kansas City Royals and more of a mid to small market team, and the Mets had a lower payroll than the Kansas City Royals last year.
Yeah, most people don't realize that. 1-1 on Granderson. That misses. 2-1. Before they won 90 games last year, they hadn't had a winning season since 2008, hadn't been in the postseason since '06. And that's fouled off. 2-2 on Granderson.
Granderson 3 for his last 23 with runners in scoring position.
One, top of 2. 2 on, 2 outs. 2-2 on Granderson, the former Tiger and Yankee. Just missed. 3-2. Pitch is wasted. Good location. Hard sinker at 94.
Tony Walters also gave the deke where he pounded his glove on the inside and bounced to the outer part of the plate.
Eddie with an inside move.
A bad idea to see if that base runner, Walker, might be drifting too far away.
Runners going. See you later. So Eddie Butler strikes out Granderson in the inning due to let off with a double. He'd eventually come around on the infield hit by Plawecki, and it's 1-1, middle of 2 at Coors Field.
As we head into the bottom of the second inning, yesterday with the Jose Reyes suspension, maybe lost is the fact that Ben Paulson got optioned down for Daniel Descalso. Why that's important is because it means Mark Reynolds is now your everyday starting first baseman. When I asked Walt Weiss what makes him so special, he had a lot of great things to say.
He's a tougher out than, I thought, probably a lot of people thought. I think he's made some adjustments, though. I think he's a smarter hitter than he used to be. And you see him use the whole field. You've seen him beat the shift several times already this year. They're hitting the ball the right side. He's done a really nice job.
When I signed, I talked to Walt before I signed, and he said, whoever's swinging is going to play. And, fortunately enough, I've been able to put some good at-bats together and get some hits. And, he's true to his word. He's playing the guy that's swinging it.
Mark Reynolds has been swinging it very well. He does a check swing right there. If you look at some of the advanced numbers, outside the zone swing percentage for Mark Reynolds has dropped down to 25%, something that he's not normally accustomed to doing. So yes, he has made a slight adjustment. He also told me that he's not taking the big swing. He will strike out, we know that, but he'll pick his spots to hit the home run. Huey, you can talk about how good his defense has been at first base and how important that is for the infielders as well.
You know what, Billy, I think that's been one of the more underrated things. We talk about his swing and his BABIP and all of that, but for me, his defense at first base, it's really been noticeable how many plays and how many runs he saved over there.
I think overall, we can show you some more numbers to embellish what Spilly's talking about, what you're talking about. His at-bats are more under control. He had a lot of short at-bats previously in his career. 1-2. The line drive percentage is up. Fly ball percentage, ground ball percentage have reversed. Normally a lot of home run hitters, they're fly ball guys. There's nothing wrong with that because they're strong, and a lot of those fly balls, or a certain percentage of them, are going to go out of the ballpark.
But that number right there, the BABIP, 484.
Really hard to maintain that, obviously. The league average is right around 300. And that is your batting average with balls in play. Many refer to that as the good fortune statistic, that you can have periods of time where if your BABIP is unusually high, you're probably hitting with some good luck. Balls are eluding fielders, the seeing eye hit, that sort of thing.
But that's part of hitting.
That is part of hitting. I agree.
Oh yeah, he's so lucky. Well, you know what? He puts the ball in play a lot. You're going to have more good fortune. And
this at bat is kind of emblematic of Mark's new approach. It's a lengthy at bat. Look at the result.
And where did he go with it?
He went to the opposite field. He's going to try to stretch this into a double, and guess what? He's going to long stride into second. Well done, Mark Reynolds. A hustle double for Reynolds, leading off the second after fouling off a number of pitches. I mean, Spilly couldn't have set it up any better.
and thanks for Mark for playing right into this, where he hits it the other way. 9th double this season for Mr. Reynolds, and they wanted to go upstairs on the Subaru Supermo. Well, they didn't get it upstairs because that was belt high, short, compact swing, takes it the other way, staying inside the baseball. And here's the other thing with this double. He knows how far Curtis Granderson had to go towards the line and then make the spin throw to go back to second base. He was aware of that. That's why he took second base.
Now you have a guy who is as good as anybody in baseball at going the other way, DJ LeMahieu. Inside, 1-0 on DJ in a 1-1 baseball game. And that swing, you said it was short to the baseball. That wasn't a bomber swing.
No, a bomber swing, your hip would have been flying open, your shoulders, and you would have had more of the uppercut swing. That was in control.
DJ slices it to right. This will get the run home. Reynolds scores. DJ with his 11th RBI, and the Rockies go right back on top 2-1.
And this might be the hardest yet best RBI that DJ has had, because we're going to freeze this on contact. Where this pitch was and how he makes contact with it. So they go down and in. Look at the angle, the bad angle. How he had to go there. His right elbow is connected to his hip. All of that to put that ball towards right field. That's only through a lot of practice. I know DJ goes that way a ton. I get it, folks. But that was an unusual swing on a tough pitch to hit it to right field, and he gets an RBI out of it.
Extraordinary hand-eye coordination as well. DJ takes off, hit and run, throw to second, is going to cut him down. So Walters couldn't get the bat to the baseball, and DJ is caught stealing 2-6.
Well, we know what the rule is. If it is a hit and run, you don't get as good of a jump, and DJ is relying on Tony to put the ball in play, and then when he doesn't, it's an easy catch and throw at second base. And then Cabrera also put his foot in front of the bag. You have to be careful as an infielder when you do this, because guys will go in with their spikes right into your foot. Close on the Subaru Supermo, but when you stick your foot there, and I'm talking from experience because I had Pat Kelly of the New York Yankees break my big toe when I tried to do that one time. So I know what that feels like. But Cabrera.
Did you take a peek and see what guys were wearing at first?
You know what? Back then, pretty much everybody was just wearing the metal spikes. So I mean, maybe you do now, I don't know. But back then, it was, I can guarantee you, it was a metal spike that went right into my big toe.
Put you on the shelf for a while.
About 6 or 7 weeks. Had to have surgery. Yeah, it wasn't fun. Couple
like
pins. I remember because Pat was also called safe, and I remember talking to the umpire, and I said, "How could he be safe? He slid right into my foot." He goes, "Well, that's what I had." I said, "Well, okay. Well, I also have a broken toe."
Yeah, he was safe in hitting my foot. That's
Right.
about it. 0-2 on Walters, and a ground ball deep in the hole and on through. That's where he had his base hit to drive in a run yesterday. So nice piece of 0-2 hitting for Walters. 3 straight hits against Verrett. 5 in all for the Rockies as they bat in the second.
And you can just tell the expression on Tony's face. He's happy with the base hit, of course, but he's also disappointed because he didn't get the hit and runs. He made contact on the hit and run swing.
Now Butler at the plate. Again, good speed at first base. And that's a good
Thank
bunt.
you.
Yeah. Duda could have let that go foul.
That's what I thought he was going to do.
Decided to take the out, which puts the Rockies in a position to score another run here with Walters at second and Charlie Blackmon coming up.
Third sacrifice this season for Eddie. He ties Chad Bettis with the team lead for pitchers.
Blackmon hit a fly ball to center field his first time. Chuck 6 for his last 10. He's got a 10-game hitting streak in which he's hitting .410. It's the 4th 10-plus game hitting streak of his career. His career long, set last August, was a dozen games. Outside from Verrett. That's kind of an interesting story, Huey. He was a Rule 5 guy that was selected from the Mets roster. He was on 2 different big league rosters and then came back to the Mets.
Kind of a strange and different path to come back to the team that originally drafted you. He was a 3rd-round pick in 2011 by the Mets. 101st overall.
Probably a pretty difficult place to break in as a starter.
Yeah. He's been valuable for their ball club.
Charlie held up and it was inside, so it's 3-1. Trevor Story on deck. Trevor doubled off the right field wall his first time. That's all he hits, homers and doubles. Who needs singles?
Right? Those are more splashy and exciting anyway.
This ball pulled foul. EY ducking. One of the security guys down the right field line ducking. That's Jose.
That's Jose, exactly.
Jose's got old school Little League. He's got he's got his soft cap and then the hard hat over the top. Haven't seen that in a while.
I haven't.
3-2 on Charlie. Outside, ball 4. Now 2 on for Story. Dan Warthen leading the conversation. Story with the double in the first inning has 89 total bases. The only guy in the National League, we're talking about home runs and doubles, and he sprinkled in some triples. The only guy in the National League with more total bases is the guy who's on deck. His buddy on the left side of the infield. Check that out.
Dynamic
Every
duo.
one of those guys are infielders, and 4 of the 5 are middle infielders.
Used to be middle infielders were punch and Judy guys. Maybe hit 8th or 9th, depending on what league you were playing in, and you were expected to catch the ball. You hit 240 like Mark Belanger, everything was good.
Outside ball 1. Diaz has been a godsend for the Cardinals. They lost Johnny Peralta early. They always just plug somebody in and keep rolling, don't they?
It's the old line, next man up.
Want to know on Story, outfield straight up and deep. 2 on and 2 outs. Mets ahead, or Rockies ahead 2-1 up the middle. And he's cut off there by Cabrera, and he'll flip to second to end the inning. So the Rockies got a lead double by Reynolds. DJ brought him home. 2-1 Colorado. We call that showing off, Jamie. Mets, they won 5-2 last night. As we go to the top of the third, David Wright, Michael Conforto, and Yoenis Cespedes against Eddie Butler. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston upstairs, joined by an old friend. I mean, I don't mean old, but a friend I've known for a long time, 30 years now. Jamie Hamilton, who I used to refer to Sam Simplesio, the late Sam Simplesio, as Mr. Grand Junction. You've been Mr. Grand Junction for a long period of time. Chairman of the Junior College World Series, and if it's baseball related in Grand Junction on the Western Slope, they go your way. How you been, man?
I'm doing great. It's great to see both of you. It's been a while. So
yeah.
You're looking good and doing a great job here, and it's fun to watch the Mets and the Rockies tonight.
You know what? You still look like the middle infielder you once were. You played at Regis, played professionally for a number of years.
Well, Huey made my day. He said 240 and catch the ball. If I could only hit 240, might be up here.
Why do you think I said that? It's for me too, not just you.
Good.
You know, one of my favorite lines about that was Mike Gallego, and Gag's been a coach forever. He's now working in the Angels system. And he would tell kids, he goes, "Yep, I hit 230. Hit 230 for 10 years." He goes, "You try to stay up here hitting 230. That takes some real talent to hit 230 and stick around as long as I did." But he could pick it. 1-2 on right. It's too tall. 2-2. So the Junior College World Series, and that's where we first met, because we tell, you know, a different incarnation of Root Sports. We used to televise it every year, and it was awesome because people turn out every single night for that event, and you see some dynamite baseball, and it's around the corner.
Well, it is. May 28th is the first pitch, and we have teams qualifying this week, and you being a JUCO guy as well, you get that. It's pressure's going on, and San Jacks is one of the top teams. Santa Fe out of Florida is qualifying, and there's lots of good things going on.
Right at Cargo, 1 out. David Wright is retired.
Well, it's been about, 80+ guys that have come out of the Junior College World Series at least and then make it to the big leagues.
To make it to the big leagues. Brandon McCarthy, actually from Colorado, Bruzlanic, played at Trinidad. He made it to the big leagues. Brandon Belt in your own division. He played for San Jac in 2007. Chad Curtis, Cal Daniels, and just most recently in 2010, Bryce Harper was there, and that was a spectacle
for a while.
Yeah, that's true. You know the story. That's true.
He ended up giving Eric Gagne, Cliff Lee, a couple of huge name pitchers.
Gagne was at Seminole. That's right.
To me, and one of the beautiful things, and we have such great baseball fans in this region, and you draw from a region. You can go over there and you catch a ball game, catch a couple of ball games, and it's packed, and it's just a great atmosphere. This ball's hit a ton to right center field. Cargo is going to give it to Deke, but he caught it. I tell you what, he's deking me twice.
He got you, didn't he?
He did. He must have got that off the end of the bat. Do you think he hit that out?
I thought he hit it better than that for sure. And Cargo has done that to us a couple times where he'll go back and I remember Larry Walker was the guy that really started doing this off this wall. But not that time. There was no deke involved. It was just an F9. Look at it. Cargo's going back. Little fly ball. I expect it right there to turn around the plate off the wall.
Yeah.
2 outs.
I have to talk to him later. I mean, it's all right if you deke the other team. You can't start deking the announcers. 2 gone, and Cespedes comes up. He lined to Cargo his first time.
Well, I just know playing JUCO ball what it meant to be able to say, hey, we're trying to get to Grand Junction, because that's the ultimate if you're playing junior college baseball, and it's great baseball.
It is really good baseball, and what's really good is the fans appreciate it. And talking with the front office and the local ownership of the Grand Junction Rockies, the fans appreciate what you do. I mean, if you get a guy on and get him over, fans are clapping for that, and I think that's what helps these guys progress. And seeing Eddie pitch and having done that a couple of seasons ago in Grand Junction is pretty cool.
That's a base hit with 2 outs for Cespedes. What's the attendance record? It seems like every year you're breaking it.
The attendance record actually was set up almost 7 years ago at 131,000 over 19 games. Last year we had just under 11,000 for the Memorial Night game, where we have fireworks and recognize all the good volunteers on our committee. And it's a family event. And oh, by the way, there's a baseball game going on, and we have now 4th generation fans coming to the games, and we have volunteers doing this. It's phenomenal.
And the facility.
Well, the facility's even more. Suplizio Field, and $8.3 million arena remodel that was spearheaded by the JUCO committee, a bunch of volunteers, and we're taking care of making that payment for the next 25 years. And I don't know that I'm going to be around that long to do that.
Yeah, you're going to be there. I know you will be. 1 strike on Lucas Duda. 2 outs. Cespedes at first base. Rockies ahead 2-1. Why do you think, and sometimes we in a cavalier fashion say, oh, great fans in this town, great fans in that town, but there is something unique, and I'm saying this from firsthand experience many times. There's something unique about the Grand Junction area. They love baseball. Can you put a finger as to why it's always resonated with them?
I'll go to some guys' names.
I tell you,
Buzz Bergman.
I'll tell you what we're going to do if Parr gets there. Well, we're going to hold that. You stick around for next half
I'd
inning?
love to.
We'll come back more with Jamie Hamilton, more on the Junior College World Series. Eddie Butler and the Rockies ahead 2-1, middle of 3 at 20th and Blake. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. On an overcast Saturday evening in lower downtown Denver, the Rockies leading the Mets 2-1. Won last night 5-2. Rockies with a victory can get to 500. And in the third, it's the heart of the order. Nolan Arenado, Gerardo Parra, and Carlos Gonzalez to face Logan Verrett. Rockies got a run in the first, a run in the second. And Nolan takes a breaking ball for a strike. Jamie Hamilton continues with us. He's done so much for baseball and a lot of endeavors on the western slope, and well known in these parts from going to Regis back just a few years ago. But I had asked you, this is a base hit for Nolan. The love affair on the western slope with baseball and the origin of it.
Yeah, well, there's some great names. Obviously, again, more of the hard work ethic that everybody has. But Buzz Bergman, a Mesa Junior College coach in the Colorado State Hall of Fame and the Colorado Hall of Fame. But Bill Fanning, one of the most winningest coaches at Grand Junction High School. Those guys, Sam Simplizio, obviously his name with what he's done. But there's just a lot of people there. Mesa College is a 2-year institution that helped bring Grand Junction, the JUCO World Series. Really, it's just people are educated about the game, but it's who we are. It's just we want to be out there. We have people out there raking the fields and bringing tractors out when we had rain 20 years ago, before we had all these new things, and people always solving our problems and make sure that the student athletes that come in have the greatest experience they could ever have.
Yeah, part of the irony is now Mesa is one of the finest Division II 4-year institutions in the country. They're always, that's a great drag bunt by Parra, and he's safe at first. Brought it with him, Huey. That was well done.
The key
looked like a young Jamie Hamilton flying up the line.
Yeah.
Fourth-hander, though.
And the key is to get that bat out in front of you. You can't let it drag behind. Get it out in front so your eyes can track the ball to the baseball. So he brings it with him, and it's instead of like when you're dropping it down the third base line, with your top hand, you have to make sure that you keep it hard on the bat. Before, it's kind of more of a soft, let the ball deaden on the bat. This time you want it to be hard as you're bringing it with you to get it past the pitcher.
Jamie made a great observation. I mean, how many times you see the cleanup guy do that? But Parr is an unconventional cleanup guy, more of a collegiate type of play.
Yeah, it's what's fun about watching him play, that's for sure.
So here's Cargo. That'd be a wonderful time to get himself that elusive RBI. It's been 16 games, and this ball's in the air to left field. Will be handled out there by Conforto, and that's the first out. Mark Reynolds will come up. To get tickets for folks that are listening in, maybe here in Denver, say, you know what, it'd be a great weekend. Go on over to Grand Junction.
With the remodel, we do have reserve opportunities now, and we have 900 new seats in what we call the tower. Really nice that the GJ Rockies get to use, CMU gets to use, and 4 local high schools. Bottom line, monumentalevents.com or jucogj.org. Get your tickets, come over for the weekend or come for the championship game. This year, MLB.com is going to stream the last 2 games like you used to come in and do PSN.
Right, that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. I saw that. And it's such a high level of baseball, and the enthusiasm is second to none. One of the things I always remember, you talk about it being a family affair, there were a lot of folks naturally focused on the field, what's going on, and then all the kids had games going on underneath the stands.
Well, we like to actually say, Drew, that the 131,000, there was really only about 50,000 in the seats. Everybody else was underneath the stands playing ball or playing catch or playing wiffle ball. So, but it's, again, people growing up with that 4th generation, as we already said, it's just a real special event.
I'm trying to get autographs for some of these guys too.
Yeah, well, we have those situations where when the teams are eliminated, and you'll appreciate that, these kids are asking for their hats, their jersey, their batting gloves, whatever it is, and it's really special to see those pictures of these 8-, 9-year-olds wearing a hat from Potomac State in West Virginia or in Maryland, wherever they're from, but
they wear it proudly.
They do, and all through the community you can see that going on.
3-0 on Mark Reynolds. And now the bases are loaded for LeMahieu. Chance for the Rockies to gain some separation from the Mets in a 2-1 ball game. How often do you get back to this side of the
well, now with the grandbaby, we try to get over here a little bit more, but I have some business opportunities over here as well. And as I said, Dane, who played at University of New Mexico with JP down there, they have a business with my daughter Sarah, and they have a business in Parkner, so kind of come over there and try to be a little mentor with that. But we have family over here, and it's fun to come back to. We have season tickets still because of Simplizio. We still have them down here, and people love to come over and enjoy the game.
DJ takes a strike. He rifled a single to right in the 2nd inning to score Reynolds. Nolan a leadoff knock. He's at 3rd. The bunt base hit by Parra. He's at 2nd. And Mark Reynolds just walked on 4 pitches. Jinx DJ, but Verrett's one of those guys. He's typically, I know he had 8 strikeouts last year when the Rockies faced him. His swing and miss pitch is a slider, but he's not one of those guys that you really fear in an upside down count.
No, obviously he's not like a Syndergaard or DeGrom who's going to throw tomorrow. Matt Harvey, who threw last night, just doesn't have that power stuff of those guys.
Shows fastball. It's up high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And now 2-2. Jamie, who won it last year?
Santa Fe out of Florida, and actually they're Northwest Florida. Santa Fe is the #1 team in the nation right now, and they're playing in their state championship, automatic qualifier out of state. A young man that we're going to have to watch out of Neosho, Cali County, as playing at them at the championship tomorrow. A young man, 64 games, 123 RBIs.
What?
Named Ware is his last name, W-A-R-E. So we're hoping he gets there in that light air, see what he can do.
Ball 3. I don't care what league you're playing in. If you knock in 2 for every game you play,
I know.
That's good T-ball.
Yeah, and he won the Triple Crown this year for the state of Kansas. So a really good baseball coming out of there with
San Jack's always good.
San Jack has probably one of their better clubs this year. On my understanding, they've already had 10 D1 signees out of their sophomore class for next year.
3-2, bases loaded. Ball 4, that'll force in a run. So LeMahieu was behind 0-2, works a walk. Arenado come on down, and it's 3-1 Colorado with Tony Walters coming up.
I'll get Dan Worthen on the phone after back-to-back walks. Second RBI tonight for DJ. It was nice for DJ too, because the last 3 pitches weren't even close. You recognize that out of the hand, you just say, oh, thank you. I was down in the ditch 0-2. I'm at first base, still with only 1 out.
So Tony Walters, who sliced a single through the 5.5 hole his last time up, drove in a run yesterday. Chance to help the club some more here. 1-0. What a great story, Jamie. This kid, you were a middle infielder. You got to see this kid pick it. I mean, he was a middle infielder, and Terry Francona, the Cleveland organization, said, listen, we're going to put the gear on you. And he has, within a couple of years, become outstanding defensively. So much so, a 23-year-old kid, he makes the Rockies as a backup catcher. First time Walt saw him, he said, that guy's a big league shortstop. His actions, Huey saw him early.
Well, and he also played, I believe it was an inning, maybe 2 innings down in Arizona at second base this year in a game that the Rockies were winning. So he was out at second base.
And that's pretty special, because you've seen guys try to move from the infield back there, and they just don't have that ability. And watching him, he does really control his pitching staff. So.
Yeah.
And it's a good story all the way from being gone from Cleveland and now being in the big leagues.
Yeah.
So I like it.
It's a Robles. Hansel also pitched 2 innings last night. Up quickly here again in the bottom of the 3rd.
It's a stocking cap night at Coors Field. It's chilly. 2-0 on Walters. Slider and a fastball count, and he got underneath the hands. 2-1. And now for the folks on the Western Slope, it's baseball about 8 months a year.
Yeah, it's really neat the way this town's kind of wrapped their arms around the GJ Rockies organization.
That's a strike, and Colorado Mesa.
Yeah, Colorado Mesa was before I just walked in here. They're in the championship game against CSU Pueblo right now to see who wins the championship of the league. They already won the regular season, and a chance to host regionals next year or next week. So it'll be a pretty good story for them again.
2-2 fouled up. The other thing, Jamie, unfortunately, because of this gig, I don't get back for Junior College World Series.
Yeah, we tried to get you. We've tried to get you, but you're always working.
Yeah, I got a nice note from I believe somebody on your committee about coming in and speaking.
Right.
And unfortunately, I think we're on the road at that point in time. One of these years it'll work out. But let's get back to this pitch. I want to ask you something here in a moment about Grand Junction. 2-2, and Walters got a piece of it.
Foul ball
to stay alive. Last time we were driving through, he was coming back actually from spring training. We decided to drive back and did the. We're getting an argument here.
Carlos was emphatic about it being a foul ball. He came out, he popped out behind the plate, waving his arms.
Well, listen, Terry's not going to win this because it's not reviewable.
And he's already said it's a foul ball.
See if the ball moves. I don't know.
Boy, it didn't appear so on the Subaru Supermo.
And Collins is gone. Terry Collins ejected here in the 3rd inning.
Turn his lineup card over to Dick Scott, the bench coach. One more look. And it doesn't appear that Tony fouled that off. You see Carlos, he pops out of there. Says it was a foul ball. He also says it's going to be a short night for you, Terry.
So Walters gets a second life. And now it's 3-2 on Tony. All the pressure in the world's on Verrett. Just walked a run in when he lost LeMahieu after being ahead 0-2.
And the batter before that, he walked on 4 pitches, Mark Reynolds.
We said earlier, his last start was April 19th. He's been working out of the bullpen, so he hasn't gone long in a while. Here's the 3-2, and it's fouled off past Stu Cole. Big at bat means you have Butler on deck. Tony knows it. Verrett knows it. Parr at third, Reynolds at second, LeMahieu the trail runner. And Walters hits this a ton to right center field. And it is over the head of everybody. Kisses off the top of the wall. 2 runs are scored. LeMahieu's going to get a stop sign at third. Everybody had to wait to see if Cespedes would get there. Tony Walters coming through, and the Rockies lead it 5-1.
You get a second life, and then you come through with your 4th double of the season. The fastball threat. The previous couple pitches. Tried to get him out with the slider. The one that was in question was a slider. This one was a fastball right at the base of the wall. And DJ had to wait. He couldn't take off immediately because he had to wait, and that's why Tony wisely did what he did.
There's a safety squeeze, and they get the out there. It's interesting. Duda had LeMahieu hung up, and he tags Butler. And now the Rockies will get Blackman up with 2 in scoring position. How would you have played that, Huey?
Well, I'm with you, be as far down the line as DJ was. But you have to remember, for Lucas, he's got this ball coming at him. He's got a base runner. Everything's right in front of him. So he's just thinking, I'm going to get this guy, rather than looking at third base, because he's the important guy in this whole situation. But Lucas, he took the out instead. And I know Eddie's disappointed because that was just a safety squeeze. If he got it down not quite as hard, DJ would score the run.
There's a strike on Charlie Blackman. Saying very quickly, Grand Junction, when I went through a few years ago, I could not believe how big it's grown.
Yeah, we're doing good. Our economy is not as robust here as the Eastern Slope, but just good, hard-working people, and it's a lot bigger than when you were there the last time.
2 strikes on Blackman. Well, I know the economy will be aided by, as it always is, the Junior College World Series.
Get your tickets. That's right. You guys always do a great job of promoting it, especially during the month of May. I always hear it on your games. You're talking about Grand Junction. If you see some guy that's played in the big leagues that's been through there, you always promote us. So we really appreciate the partnership.
Well, it's a couple weeks away.
Yes,
so get your tickets. Take your family. If you're listening somewhere in suburban Denver, go on over. It's a great trip. You are guaranteed to have a blast. You're going to see a high level of baseball, and the folks are. It really is one of the most hospitable towns
And then
that I've had the good pleasure of going to on many occasions.
Yeah, and then it's just a lead-in after that to the Grand Junction Rockies season.
Great.
I mean, once it starts, it doesn't stop until September.
No, you'll be coming back. Pretty good vino over there too. Right?
Yeah, you need to see the wineries. You need to go play some nice golf courses, and mountain biking's phenomenal.
1-2 on Charlie. Outside, 2-2. You talk about a high-stress inning. Logan Verrett's going to need a catch and a psychiatrist after this inning.
Well, I want to give him an assist too, because you got me an extra half inning with you guys, so I appreciate it.
We were keeping you anyhow. You didn't know that. 2-2 on Chuck Nasty. 2 in scoring position. And this ball lined to center field. That'll get them both home. Charlie Blackman coming through. Walters follows LeMahieu to the plate, make it 7-1 Rockies.
That's what you have to do. When you have a chance to blow a game open, you have to take advantage of it. They've done it. Tony got the second life. He doubles off the wall in right center field. Now Charlie Blackmon comes through with a couple RBIs for his 13th of the season. Curveball that didn't dip enough on the Subaru Super Mode. Charlie stays through it, keeps that hitting streak alive. Now 11 straight games for Charlie.
And I think Dick Scott, Dan Worthen, there's Dick Scott, bench coach, taking over for Terry Collins. He's saying at least initially Logan Verrett's going to wear it because end of a long road trip. You still have a game tomorrow. They know what Coors Field can be like, and he doesn't want to see a stream of guys coming out of the bullpen.
But the only thing with that, though, is he hasn't started since mid-April. So, I mean, yeah, this kid might have to wear it a little bit, but there's also down the road how many pitches can he throw after only throwing an inning or two for the last month each time he's gone out there.
Story takes a strike. You grew up here and you were a heck of a player here. Did you realize, was the altitude talked about a lot when you were playing, Jamie?
No, it wasn't. That's what's kind of fascinating to me, talking with the front office personnel here and scouts. We never thought about that. Now, and I really don't want to think about that now, because it means that whatever home run I did hit back then really didn't count. So I'm really worried about that. But no, it wasn't that. You know, it was the same thing. The strong pitching that you have, good baseball, Pony League. We had a Denver All-Stars played in the Pony League World Series, and good baseball and good high school players. And so I have trouble with that, but I know it does come into people's conscious now.
Well, Huey and I talk about this all the time, and you know this to be true, having been raised here. Colorado baseball, and I think in the last 20+ years since the Rockies arrived, the number of players this state at the high school levels producing is phenomenal. This ball's fouled off. When you consider, you know, the size of our state, the fact that it's a cold weather state, I guarantee you per capita,
well,
Colorado's as good a baseball state as there is.
High school games, maybe they jumped it up to 23, then the playoffs, but it used to be just 19 games. I mean, we've all had slumps longer than 19 games.
And unfortunately, it still is.
It still is.
Right?
Okay, there you go.
I've talked to some of my friends at Chassa. It needs to be changed.
It does need to be changed, and that's how you get better. I mean, guys that I played with that were out of high school when I was 21, they had more at-bats all the way through their high school than I had out of high school and college.
1-2 fouled off. I was talking to a very dear friend of mine from college who lives in Dallas now, and he said, we were talking about our kids, and his son just finished his high school season. They played around 40 games, and Colorado is capped at 19. Great state for baseball. It's got to change, especially with the weather factor. Baseball, 19's a sprint, man. 19's a little more than a football season.
There you go.
Not baseball. You got to play more.
You have to play more. In Arizona, we played 35, 40 games in high school.
Now, I will say something about altitude and my golf swing. I did get to play on at altitude or at sea level. There is a difference there.
There's a difference.
It might be ability then, too.
Rockies up 7-1. 5 runs here in the third against Verrett. 1-2 on Story. He fouls off another pitch. I bet you if you look up, I don't know if Dougie has a sight on this, number of foul balls hit, that kid's in the top half dozen in the National League. And I know he has some strikeouts. He also has big flies, doubles, triples. He wears pitchers out. He has quality at bat after quality at bat.
There you go.
On cue.
Would get souvenirs for everybody.
Well, I obviously don't know the young man, but obviously know his background and what you guys have promoted with him. You can tell that he appreciates every at-bat and every chance he gets to play.
Yeah.
Hugh, you had a long career, but you got to appreciate it. I mean, that's really cool.
I do, because you know, he really hasn't wavered in his approach from spring training to today. It's the same that we saw then, the same that we're seeing now in May.
Outside. Charlie Blackmon at first, by the way, since we're talking with you so much about the Junior College World Series that begins in a couple of weeks on the 28th. Charlie went to a junior college before going to Georgia Tech.
That actually, I wasn't aware of that.
Ryan Rayburn was drafted out of a junior college. He started his career at Florida and then transferred to a JUCO. This ball's pulled foul.
Well, when you see Batista and Albert Pujols, who are junior college guys, and something interesting enough, reading the other day on some things, technically Jackie Robinson, one of the best players ever, is Pasadena Junior College.
That's right.
And
That's right.
before he went off to UCLA. So there's always inside stories, and then some great coaches too. Wayne Graham, that was San Jack for so many years when you were covering, and went to Rice and did some great things at Rice at a very small student athlete population, but a great baseball team.
I remember because, you know, again, San Jack would roll in there when we were covering it back on Prime Sports, and then that was a big news story then when Wayne Graham left San Jack to take the Rice job.
Yeah, it was pretty new to
power,
do something like that.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
You know, Terry Shumpert's son Nicholas was on that San Jack team. 3-2, base hit through the vacancy on the right side. Blackman will go first to third. How about that, AB?
Fouling 2 or 3 off to the right, couple to the left, and then shoot the hole between first and second. And that will be it for Logan Verrett, as Dick Scott, the acting manager, bench coach, is coming out to take him out of the game after this hit by Trevor Story. Off the Subaru strike zone. It wasn't on the strike zone, but he had enough plate coverage, taking it the other way. And now first and third for Nolan as we go to break.
So Verrett walks off. The Rockies have hit around. They're not done in the third. They're up 7-1. Trevor Story, a base hit a moment ago. He's already got a single and a double tonight. Now, Rockies fans also get tacos tomorrow with the Rockies hitting that magic number. Don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell locations between 4 and 6 tomorrow afternoon to receive your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. Hansel Robles is in the ballgame again. Yesterday, he threw 2 scoreless innings. Trying to rescue Logan Verrett. Nolan Arenado about 25 minutes ago got the rally started with a sharp single to left. Drew Goodman, Jeff Hewson, joined by an old friend, Jamie Hamilton, talking about the Junior College World Series. Jamie's gonna have to stick around. You put 5 runs on the board, Jamie. Well done.
This is fun.
And who says baseball is superstitious?
Yeah, well, yeah,
right?
We've already talked about that with the ball not being called foul or being called foul.
Yeah, and
look what happened.
Yeah.
You know how that works. So.
Yeah,
and that's a big break in this game.
It's a big break. Because,
otherwise, it's 2 outs.
That's right. A moment later, Tony Walters hits the 2-run double. This is cued to first, and this will maybe not. And they just do get Nolan, as Duda had trouble picking it up. That will end the inning. The Rockies put a 5 spot up as 10 come to bat. 7-1 the Rockies lead. Jamie, it's always great to see you. Here's the deal, though, all right? First of all, Junior College World Series, get your tickets. It's coming up in a couple of weeks. The second thing is, and I don't expect this to happen, but if we need you for a little rally later on tonight,
I'll be here.
You're on speed dial.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Good to see you both. Thanks for everything.
You betcha. Jamie Hamilton, get out to Grand Junction. See the Junior College World Series this year. Rockies up by 6.
Rockies are up. Earlier today, the Rockies visited at Owens Boys and Girls Club, part of this weekend's first inaugural Play Ball weekend, which is part of the MLB's Play Ball initiative. Guys like Gerardo Parra, Carlos Gonzalez, Carlos Estevez were all in attendance. The Play Ball initiative is being established around baseball. All 30 Major League Baseball teams are participating in it. You can see players tonight are wearing different patches. There will be over 320,000 baseball and softball sets given out this weekend at the different stadiums. Rockies personnel will wear the Play Ball patches on their uniforms, and local youth will be around. So if you want to see more, you can check out playball.org for more information. Pretty cool stuff today at the clinic. You had home run hitting with Carlos Gonzalez. You had throwing fire with Carlos Estevez, and Christian Adames was picking ground balls. It's pretty good stuff today.
Ooh, this ball's hit a long way to right, and this is gone. Neil Walker has hit his 10th home run of the year, and it's 7-2.
There was no dig by Carlos Gonzalez in right field on the Walker home run, because that hit off the back wall of the Rockies bullpen. Appeared to be a hanging slider. Neil Walker, no doubt about it.
So as Drupal Cabrera at the plate, he takes a strike. He becomes the 8th player, Walker does, to reach double figures in home runs in the National League. Nolan has the most, 13. Cespedes, his teammate, has 11, along with Trevor Story and Bryce Harper. Rizzo, Stanton, Chris Carter of Milwaukee now, and Neil Walker with 10. Billy was talking about the clinic this morning, which you and I got the pleasure of participating in as well a little bit.
Corey
Corey was out there, and great turnout.
That's
by
always
the
a fun
Rockies.
day. Just to see the joy on the kid's face, just to interact with some big league players, just playing ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the neatest thing is Christian Adames and I were working the ground balls today, and so we get done with one group, and this young man comes over to Christian and puts his arm around him and says, "Can I take you home?"
That's beautiful.
And Christian just broke out in a big smile. And he said, "I'm sorry, I've got to go, but thank you.
Yeah, that, you know what, it's marvelous because they're, you know, small children. They'll tell you exactly how they feel. I saw a couple of those kids firing at you.
Well,
I'm glad your reflexes are pretty good still.
I gave those hard doors to Christian.
Ground ball to short. Story's got it. Cabrera's out. One gone in the fourth inning. And that'll bring up Plawecki, the catcher.
Well, that's a good rebound batter for Eddie after the home run. Get the ground ball out.
I give those players a lot of credit, and I know that, you know, the cynics at home say, hey, these guys are well compensated. It should be part of what they do, give it back, and it is, but it's organic with so many of the Rockies. They played a game late last night, and for those guys, they were going from the clinic basically to the ballpark after, and, you know, Cargo was there, and you know, Parra's there, and so many Rockies. Chris Warren, the Rockies advanced scout. So you know, big tip of the cap today. The Rockies going out, spending a good amount of time with those kids from the Boys and Girls Club. Plawecki had an RBI single. Ground ball, the third base line that Nolan got a glove on, but couldn't make a play. And he's going to have a chance here. This is a little bit easier. 2 outs. Mets are going to go to their bench as cleanup crews on that bat. It'll be Alejandro Diaza pinch hitting for Robles.
The bat boy had to go down the third base line to pick up the barrel of it, down the first base line to pick up the handle, and then also by home plate to pick up some other bat shavings.
That's kind of like from a few years ago when those maple bats would
they
detonate.
just disintegrate, just explode on contact sometimes.
Here's the 1-0 to Diaza, and that is grabbed by LeMahieu. What a play. End of inning. And he's getting a standing ovation from Eddie Butler as Eddie walks off the field. What a marvelous play by DJ. Solo home run from Neil Walker. It's 7-2 Colorado as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Each inning so far. Run in the first, run in the second, and then 5 in the third. As we take a look at our Office Liquidators series storylines, well, beaten streak last night. The Rockies snapped the 11-game losing streak against the Mets. They're trying to turn the tables on them after the 5-2 victory last night. And Eddie Butler looking for his first victory at Coors Field since April of last year. And Cargo trying to get rolling again. You know he will. So far tonight, he's 0 for 2. We're going to see him in a moment because he's on deck. Gerardo Parra leading off. And one of 3 left-handers in the bullpen for the Mets is now in the ball game, as they have turned to Sean Gilmartin,
who just returned to the big leagues a few days ago with the injury to Wilmer Flores. They decided to go with only 4 guys on their bench and an extra arm in the bullpen. Gilmartin tossed 3 scoreless innings in his first appearance, and that was against the Dodgers on May 12th.
Parra is perfect tonight, a single and then a bunt single. And this is on the ground to short. Cabrera fans his glove and throws across, 1 out. So what have you seen from Cargo of late as to why he's a little bit off?
I just think his timing's off. With the leg kick, that's the one of the things that will go with a hitter is that timing mechanism. It's all good when that leg comes up, but when it comes up and then you start to drift with your body, that's what's been happening, I think, to Cargo, at least in the last, I would say in the last 15 to 18 at-bats.
Now this is all pitchers. You see the graphic there. All pitchers against Cargo this year, what they throw first pitch. And then now an 0-1 count. Still predominantly fastball. And we didn't get a fastball, got a curveball. It's 0-2.
Yeah, and you and I had this question asked of us this morning, you know, about this pitch probability, and it's independent for each pitcher and each hitter. It's not just any pitcher. It's Gilmartin and Cargo.
1-2. Got him on a curveball. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Mark Reynolds.
The probability was 50% it was going to be a fastball. It didn't match up there.
How about this? Mark Reynolds with the double and the walk tonight moved his average to 340, which is the highest batting average of any first baseman in the National League. 34 points better than Brandon Belt, the only other 300 hitter among first basemen. And Mark's now going to get the bulk of the time. He was getting, I would say, what, about 65% of it, 65%. Ben Paulson was playing about a third of the time, but now the backup will be probably Descalso.
But even before Ben was sent out, you could tell that even against the right-handers, it wasn't a righty-lefty matchup. And to Mark's credit, since April 24th, he's been hitting in 375 mark.
Broken bat roller to the second baseman Walker, and he throws out Reynolds. A 1-2-3 4th inning. We turn the page to inning number 5. The Rockies leading the Mets 7-2. Time for our timeless moment, brought to you by Coors Banquet. Well, I think you've seen the highlights of this one before. Kent Bottenfield delivers, and EY hits one out. First batter in the history of Mile High Stadium and Mile High baseball at the major league level. And EY with the trip around the bases he'll never forget, and that's why EY remains one of the most popular Rockies of all time for that moment and many others that followed. EY still brings a big broad smile to the ballpark every day. Adored by the fans for how hard he played and how successful he was. Kent Bottenfield's an old teammate of yours when you were coming up with the Expos, right?
Yeah, he pitched for a few years there. Oh, DJ, do it again.
Gonna throw out Granderson.
DJ, I think that one was maybe just a touch easier than the last inning when he had to dive and snare the Diaz line drive grounder. There's no problem. Curtis Granderson one hops it. Smooth as silk for DJ. We have a Kent Bottenfield pitch for a while for the Expos. Fastball. Big slider and a changeup pitcher.
There's a strike on right. David caught looking in the first, and a fly ball to right field. Butler has struck out 3, allowed 2 runs on 6 hits. This is a good test for Eddie. Obviously, the Rockies have the nice cushion, but I bet you afterwards Eddie will say, you know, I didn't have my A stuff. But how successful can you be when you don't have maybe your best stuff? And, you know, so far so good. He gives up a 1-out single there to right.
But he limited the damage in the second inning when it could have been worse. Gave up the leadoff home run last inning to Neil Walker, but then settled down. He got the next 3 guys out. Steve Foster will attest to it's pitching's about making adjustments. You know, every pitcher would love to go out there every game with their best stuff, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Other times you'll have it for an inning or 2 and then lose it, or vice versa.
Yeah, last night, for instance, John Gray, I mean, he had the blistering fastball and the good slider, but at least the first couple of innings, he threw almost as many balls as strikes. And then from the 3rd inning forward, I mean, he was just untouchable and pounded the zone. 1-0 on Conforto. That's down low. 2-0.
I thought last night, too, for John, the couple growth moments, being able to go out there in the 7th inning and lock that down.
There were a couple of growth moments that, yeah, I think Walt Weiss did a great job with. One was saying, hey, you know what, big boy, it's time. You're gonna take another step. Career high pitch count, 105 pitches, worked through the 7th inning, not just into the 7th inning. And then in the 8th inning, he did the same thing with Carlos Estevez. There's a strike. Runner on 3rd with 1 out. You had Conforto coming up, and instead of mixing and matching in a 3-run game, I mean, it was, you know, it wasn't an 8-run game, one of those deals. He stayed with Estevez, and the young kid from Santo Domingo got out of the inning without any damage.
And throwing 99.
Throwing 99, that helps. 3-1. You want to create traffic. That's something the Rockies have improved on incredibly from a year ago.
You know, last year they gave up a lot of free passes. They started the year last year at 15th in walks and just stayed there.
Well, ball. There's one, and on the first double play. Didn't know if they'd be able to turn it, and they did. Wasn't hit all that hard, but 4-6-3, and that ends the inning. So Eddie Butler gets the ground ball, and that great Rockies defense turned it over.
DJ out of the glove to Trevor, step on the bag, get up.
Well, that's pretty athletic play, and
Real
Trevor's
athletic.
okay, but look at this again.
Just watching on the Subaru Supermo as Wright takes his legs out and he lands on him and on his back. Double play though.
Sean Gilmartin continues on. DJ LeMahieu leading it off in the 5th inning. 7-8-9 for the Rockies. Colorado 7 and the Mets 2. Middle game of a 3-game set. Second inning of work for Gilmartin. And a 1-2-3 4th. 2-0. I want to go back to something we were discussing a moment ago. One of the reasons the Rockies are improved on the mound is they have really cut down on their walks, and their strikeouts are up. So look at their rank. 12 strikeout to walk ratio right now in baseball. The last 3 years they finished last, and second to last. And now they're in the top half and hunting the top third. That's 2.66 strikeouts for every walk. And they were barely, in fact, last year they were under 2-1. This is fouled off. You know, look at John Gray. I mean, I think John, I got to check. I think John's better than 4-1 right now. John has 36 strikeouts to 7 walks. He's better than 5-1, which is outstanding. Chatwood is just under 3-1. Bettis is close to 4-1 at 38. And you look at the elite stats. Go take a look at the Mets staff. We'll tell you the numbers right now. One of the best rotations, obviously, in baseball. You take a look at DeGrom. DeGrom is 20-5, so he's 4-1. Harvey, who's not had a Matt Harvey kind of year yet, is 41-13. So it's, you know, it's better than 3-1. Syndergaard, who's, you know, off the charts,
Wait till you get his numbers.
He's better than 5-1. But that's what the elite guys do. And now the Rockies are starting to put together a very solid rotation, and you have some really talented young arms that have yet to arrive.
Yeah, I kind of noticed it too, and I know we just saw a double play to end that last half inning, but the double plays are down this year for the Rockies. I mean, that's an indication that there's not as many free passes out there, not as many base runners.
2-2 inside, and the Rockies notoriously had been at the very top of the charts turning double plays. On one hand, you say,
it's
hey,
not to say they can't do
that's
it.
great,
Yeah.
and part of it is they have had wonderful infielders, but the other part of it, to your point, in reality, is they've had so much traffic, they have more opportunities to turn double plays. One of the things that teams have learned from the Royals, here's the 3-2, and that is going to be a tough play at third for right, and safe. David, instead of throwing it in a conventional manner just to try to get it there as quick as he could, he just shoved the baseball about 45 feet.
Every night we say, well, I've never seen that before happen in a big league game. I've never seen this from a third baseman where he catches this ball, and we'll freeze it when he gets ready to get rid of the baseball. So he catches it, he'll take one more stride and back in. How far is that? 85 feet? 80 feet? Foot on the bag. Ball in the glove on the Subaru Supermo. Base hit for DJ.
Tony Walters, a single and a 2-run double. Walters quietly has produced 6 RBIs in his last 6 games.
2 tonight, 1 last night. One last night.
There's another stat on Tony. He's made 16 starts. Tonight's his 17th, with a number of early season injuries, unfortunately, to Nick Hundley. And the Rockies are 10-6 when Tony has started behind the plate. Chance to go to 11-6 this evening. DJ takes off, good jump, and this is pulled to first. 1 out. LeMahieu in scoring position.
Don't miss the action when the Yankees come to town. The New York Yankees make a rare appearance at Coors Field on June 14th and 15th. Get your tickets today, and they are on sale now. Just a quick 2-game set for the Yankees. Rockies have that 2-2 this year with New York. 2 in the Bronx, 2 at Coors Field.
Eddie Butler at the plate. Our man Mike Pontarelli, affectionately known as Tiny, manages the visiting clubhouse. Might have to put a couple of rocking chairs out there when the Yankees come to town.
There might be a lineup for those rocking chairs.
Got some age on that roster. Butler hits the ball pretty well to center field, but Cespedes is there. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Blackman. Charlie with a 2-run single in the 3rd now has an 11-game hitting streak, 1 shy of his career best set last year. Hitting well over 400 during the 11-game stretch, including a couple home runs and 10 RBIs. And you think about Charlie, and you think about the top leadoff men in the National League, and he may be the class of the leadoff guys in the National League now.
Because he can do so many things out of that spot.
Well, here's where he ranks the last 2+ years. Hit second, extra base hit second, ribbies first. That's in the big leagues, not just the National League.
And his plate discipline. Taking pitches.
Not to mention he plays a very, very solid center field. Battled so many injuries, foot injuries, the like, early in his career. One of the hardest working, most intense guys you'll find once he gets to the ballpark. Away from the park, easy going, fun loving.
He has that switch.
Yep.
When he walks in the doors, it's a switch that a player goes into, and then Charlie's locked in to baseball player mode.
Yeah, got a real dry wit.
Also tied for 3rd in the Major League with stolen bases during that time with 71 and Ben Revere. So, I mean, Ben's a different type of player than Charlie.
Ben's not going to hit it over the
No.
wall.
Right.
It's another way the game's changed. This ball's pulled foul. I mean, Ricky Henderson's the greatest of all time,
Yes.
leading off, and you know, Ricky, powerfully built guy, he had sprinter speed. Ricky hit a lot of home runs also, but I mean, you look at Charlie. Charlie's a 6'4", 205, 210-pound chiseled leadoff guy. He looks like a middle of the order guy.
That doesn't crouch down to make his strike zone appear smaller. You know, he stands up pretty upright, bit bigger zone, but he has the knowledge of the strike zone.
And that's called strike 3 on the outside corner. Charlie disagreeing.
You can see
Somewhat
why.
politely with Carlos Torres. That'll end the inning. DJ's left at second. To the 6th we go. Rockies up 7-2.
6th inning of work. People have been tweeting me, is this Eddie Butler the same guy we've seen before? Yes, and it comes down to pace. So I asked Steve Foster about it.
It's something that Darren and I both have been talking a whole lot about because we know how important that is. You know, when you control the tempo, again, control your emotion, control the strike zone, control the running game. All these things are what we have been trying to preach for a year, and we're starting to see some of it come to fruition, and we're teaching it through our entire system, and we're hoping from top to bottom. That's what we're doing with pitching, and Jeff is adding some pitching to us, so it's a lot of fun. We hope to keep going.
Well, leadoff double, it might be turned into a triple. So you talk about pace. Jonas Cespedes with a very fast pace right there, hitting first pitch. But pay attention, we've been seeing it with Tyler Chatwood, we've seen it with John Gray, we've seen it with Chad Bettis. It's all about that tempo, fast tempo, and Walt loves it because it makes the hitter feel on edge. Something we've been watching, and something that is you can see as a direct result, it's working.
Well, that's going to end a streak, Spilly. Thank you for that report. That's going to end an errorless streak. It's a double off the bat of Cespedes, and then Charlie's first error of the year, he had trouble picking it up, and that allowed Cespedes, who was shutting it down at second, to go to third.
Charlie, as he reaches for this baseball at the base of the wall on the Subaru Supermo, see, he just doesn't handle it. He starts to peek to see where the runner is. It goes off the fingers, and that streak has ended.
A tough way to end it is just picking up a baseball and throwing it back in. But the Rockies have gone 11 and a half games without committing an error. 1 ball, 1 strike on Duda. Rockies up 7-2. Outside, Butler working here with nobody out in the 6th inning. Good fastball, tailing away at 93. Gonzalez Germain throwing for the Rockies in their pen. And Duda with a base hit to left. And Cespedes scores the 3rd Mets run. th RBI for Lucas Duda. That'll bring up Walker. Single and a home run tonight for Neil Walker, and here comes Walt. He has not signaled to the bullpen.
Well, he's at 87 pitches. Gonzalez Germain is warmed up, and now he will signal for him in the bullpen.
So Eddie jogs off 5+, and he heads to the dugout with his club ahead 7-3. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Saturday night in the Mile High City with Jeff Houston and Ryan Spilborghs. I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies won last night 5-2. They're up 7-3 in the top of the 6th inning. Jonas Cespedes leadoff double, just scored on a base hit by Lucas Duda. The Rockies have made a pitching change. Eddie Butler comes out. Gonzalez Germain in his 100th career game is now on the bump.
Yeah, top tip of the cap to Gonzalez for that 100th game. And for Eddie Butler, this might have also been a case that Walt did not want him to face Neil Walker again. Walker had 2 hits already against Eddie, including a home run last time facing him.
Walker with his 10th home run in the 4th inning. He's got 20 RBIs. As great a year as Daniel Murphy's having in Washington. And what an unbelievable postseason last year for Murphy. Basically homered every game. The Mets went out, got Walker from Pittsburgh, and he's helped their offense immensely. I mean, he's going to hit for more power than Murphy. Murphy probably going to hit for a higher average. Walker's a little better than Murphy defensively.
Right. I'm sure it was hard for Pittsburgh to give up Neil Walker, homegrown guy, but they also needed to find a place for Josh Harrison to play.
Yes, Harrison's done a good job at second. 1-0 on Walker, and that's fouled off. As Jeff mentions, not only a homegrown guy, but a hometown hero. His first couple years in the big leagues, he was living at home in suburban Pittsburgh, where he was, his dad was a big leaguer, and he was a star, not only baseball player, but he was a great high school football player in Western Pennsylvania.
So instead of having some of the other posters up, they had his own poster up in his room.
Right. 2-1. Walker came into the series 1 for 26. Last night 1 for 3 and a walk, and so far 2 for 2 this evening. 3 runs, 9 hits for the Mets, and this is a ground ball. It's going to find an opening on the right side, and it's going to be a 1st and 3rd situation. Nobody out. You have Cabrera coming up.
Snuck that ball past Mark Reynolds. Holding the runner on. The reaction time slower. Wasn't even a strike in the Subaru strike zone. Nonetheless, 1st and 3rd, nobody out for the Mets.
Cabrera's 0 for 2. Ground ball to 1st. And can they turn it over? Yep. Reynolds had trouble getting it out of his glove initially, but they still turned it over 3-6-3. A run scored, so it's 7-4.
Well, I like the decision from Mark. Up by 4 runs at the time. You'll trade that run for 2. Because Duda was running on contact, so Mark had the option if he wanted to come home, but why would you when you can clear the bases and you're working with the 8th place hitter? Veteran play from a veteran player.
That's the thinking man's side of the game. Know what you're going to do with it before it comes to you.
Right, let the scoreboard dictate what play you make.
Milwaukee's 1 for 2, an RBI single in the 2nd. 2-0. Jim Henderson looks like he'll be next on the mound for the Mets. 2-0 hard changeup, and it's 2-1.
Well, unless they strike out Milwaukee here, inning flips over, Gil Martin might come back out for the next inning.
Runs inside. 93. 3-1. Books closed on Eddie Butler. 5+4 runs on 9 hits. Did not walk anybody. Struck out 3. Eddie's on the plus side naturally. Well, a walk first of the night by the Rockies, and that will bring up Juan Lagares. Lagares was a Gold Glove center fielder a couple of years ago, and then the Mets made the trade for Yoenis Cespedes, and he now comes off the bench.
Well, and also Michael Conforto. With him hitting and playing left field, they moved Cespedes to center.
They had to put Conforto's bat in the lineup. Rockies were up 7-1. The Mets have closed to within 7-4. A base hit. They're going to get the tying run up here in Granderson. There's a ton of pop. Wednesday, if you came to the ballpark, the Rockies had a 7-1 lead. Gave it back to Arizona. It was 7-7 when Nolan Arenado hit a home run at the bottom of the 8th, and the Rockies with Jake McGee closed it out and won 8-7. But things getting a little dicey now in the 6th inning. Couple runs in, 2 on, 2 outs, and Granderson at the plate. 0 for 3 tonight.
Fouled up a couple more, did Gonzalez. The Mets tonight 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position.
Granderson's been slumping, 6 for his last 46. He's still a dangerous guy. Hard shot, and DJ came up with it. That's not an easy play. He got it down to eye level, and that'll end the inning. 2 runs for the Mets. It's 7-4 Colorado as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Here's our first bank game recap. The Rockies raced out to a 7-1 lead, scoring 7 runs in the first 3 innings, putting a 5 spot on the board in the 3rd. And the Mets have clawed back within 3 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Trevor Story, Nolan Arenado, and Gerardo Parra for the Rockies. And they'll face Jim Henderson, the 33-year-old from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. He's had an interesting journey in his professional career.
That all over the continental United States.
Well, he's been released. He's been a Rule 5 guy. He's been a minor league free agent. He missed better part of 2 years with shoulder issues. He's been a closer. Set a rookie record for saves with Milwaukee in 2013. And he's been outstanding so far this year for the Mets. He's been unscored upon in 14 out of 16 appearances, and righties are hitting only 160 against him.
He's only given up 2 runs total. Throw 93 to 97 miles an hour with the fastball and a slider. That's it. 2-pitch mix, fastball, slider. The fastball for Henderson, he'll throw it 85% of the time.
Story, a double and a single tonight, and he spins out of the way. Trevor got upended at second. Clean slide by David Wright. But he got somersaulted on the play, popped back up. He's on a double play turn to end the inning. Got spun around there on the heater in. 2 balls and a strike. Boy, he was on that. 2-2. This is where you want to see the Rockies counterpunch after the Mets have put 3 on the board in the last 3 innings. The Rockies,
if not a run, at least make the inning last, not have a quick 1-2-3 inning. Make them play a little defense.
Trevor's hit 13 out of his last 16, well over 300. And that's strike 3. 1 out. Arenado coming up. Fans, UC Health is tracking the number of walks and the distance the Rockies earn throughout the season. Start tracking your own steps today to get fit. So far this year, the Rockies have walked 108 times, and that totals 9,720 feet, closing in on a couple of miles. From our friends at UC Health. Nolan tonight is 1 for 3, a single. He had an RBI ground out back in the 1st to knock in the Rockies' initial run.
So it's got colder down on the field. Nolan's wearing the neck guard to keep his neck warm. He didn't have that when the game started. Degrees now, but with some wind blowing out of the north.
I'm not buying it. It hasn't felt. It's felt like 32 degrees most of the evening, hasn't it?
It's what it felt like when we were out at that camp this morning, and it's just carried on the whole day.
It's freezing, guys. It's not 52 degrees.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Spilly. I'm telling you, you're out there. We're look at you. Huddled down in the corner by the dugout.
It's like I'd love to have an igloo if I had an igloo down. I'm the only one complaining, though. Everybody around me, they're all warmed up and typical baseball player.
Where's your stocking cap?
Oh, beanie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nolan drives this to center, but it's right at Cespedes. 2 outs. That'll bring up Gerardo Parra. He's got a couple of knocks tonight. fair ball, and it's not the inning the Rockies were looking for. Henderson gets him quickly and efficiently. So we'll go to the 7th. The Rockies up 7-4. Top of the 7th inning, right, Conforto, Cespedes, and at least initially Gonzalez Germain on the hill for the Rockies. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Make sure you include the promo code ROXWIN when you go to papajohns.com. Right is 1 for 3. Hits are even at 11.
A little strange.
Yeah. Squat down, get ready for the first pitch of the inning, and got to have a meeting. Rockies have Boone Logan up. Addison Reed, the former closer with the White Sox and the Diamondbacks, is in the Mets bullpen. And David Wright takes a strike. It's a key inning right here because you're going through the nasty part of that Mets lineup.
That's right, and if you can get down this 2, 3, 4 guys, and then you can bring in Boone to face the lefties next inning, maybe flip some guys over to the right side, Neil Walker, Cabrera, until you get to the 9th inning. But if this inning drags out, then those guys would come around again at the top of the 9th.
Ground ball, foul. That's broken out a little bit tonight with the 11 hits coming into tonight. This is game 10 of their season-long 11-game road trip. They were hitting just 195 on the trip. But despite that, because they pitched so well, they were 4 and 5, so not awful. Hitting below 200.
Most teams, if you hit below 200 in the first 9 games, you're going to be, 0 and 9 or 1 and 8, hitting 195.
It's off the plate, 2-2. See more and more of that, huh? I assume they're family, and you got, Dad wearing a Rockies cap. In this case, the kid's got a Mets cap. And we were down in Arizona. Remember the couple?
Yeah, the one kid wearing Diamondback stuff, but said, "I'm here to watch Trevor Story." Remember that one?
That's right. Had that one. We had the guy who had the Arizona hat on, and his wife or girlfriend had the Rocky stuff on.
Well, the other one had also the little boy that had the Rocky stuff on, and the dad had the Diamondback
That's
stuff
right.
on.
That's right. In the first row. Uh-oh, this ball's clubbed to left center field. Parra's going to cut it off. Wright's going to dig for second, and he is safe. Good throw by Gerardo.
Boy, that couldn't have been executed any better by Gerardo. By getting over there, cutting it off, and a one-hop strike to DJ. Gerardo gets it, comes up, one hop, and then DJ has to apply the tag on the foot. This will give us a better look on the Subaru Supermo. Drop it in front of the bag. Does he slide into it before his cleat hits the bag?
Wow, I don't that.
They're going to look at it. You have the manager's challenge. You're in the 7th inning.
Showing it now on the big screen.
This is the.
Now you got to stop it right here. Is there contact?
There might be contact.
I think he's out. I think he got him right before the spikes hit the bag.
No, they called him safe.
Okay, so much for that theory. It can't be the laces. It has to be. It has to be the substantive part of the glove. Close. So they uphold it, and it's a double for Wright. Now Conforto's at the plate. Conforto single in the first, 1 for 3. To left field, and that's foul.
Fans, you want to check out the pregame picnic area for a fun and affordable family atmosphere to hold your company picnic this summer. Call 303 Rockies for more information. Packages start as low as $24 per person.
Changed the eye level with Conforto, beat him with the fastball upstairs, and it's 0-2. Got Cespedes on deck. After that, Duda, and it gets to Duda. When it gets to Duda, I'm sure you'll see Boone Logan. In the air to left field, playable for Parra. So a big out in that. Conforto could not advance right. And that'll bring up the most dangerous hitter in the Mets lineup, Yoenis Cespedes.
That's where not advancing the runner puts a little more pressure on Cespedes. I mean, he can still hit it out to anywhere. But if the runner on third, the infield would have been playing back, an easier job. But now I think Gonzalez has to think, okay, I caught a minor break there with just still the runner at second base.
Cespedes 2 hits tonight. Takes ball 1. Remember when he came to town last year with the Mets?
Oh.
He's a one-man wrecking crew. 5 for 6 in a ball game against the Mets. He had 3 home runs, 7 RBIs.
Haven't seen many sliders tonight from Germain.
High fly ball, fairly deep left field, but playable. Near the line, Parra gets there.
And
Got him
there's
out
that
front. You got him out front a little bit.
But there's the run that didn't score because Conforto didn't get him to third base. Out in front, caught it off the end of the bat. He was trying to hit a home run. Subaru Supermo just moved enough to keep it from landing on the sweet spot of the bat.
Jonas knew it. Now Walt Weiss will bring on Boone Logan to face Lucas Duda with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Rockies 7, Mets 4. Here's our Cooney Lexus look back. It was a productive 3rd inning for the Rockies. What an at bat for Tony Walters. A bases loaded double that brought 2 home. And then Charlie Blackmon with 2 outs. Another lengthy at bat for Charlie, a 2-run single. 11-game hitting streak, by the way, for Chuck Nasty. The Rockies had a 7-1 lead at 7-4. And with a runner at second and 2 outs, Lucas Duda coming up, the big first baseman for New York, and Boone Logan, who's had a terrific year. Opposition hitting just a .182 against Boone this year. He's on to get that 3rd out here in the 7th.
And only 2 of 13 inherited runners have scored when Boone's been out there. The other positive number, Lucas Duda, 0 for 4 career when facing Boone.
Ball 1. Duda a double and a single tonight. It's 2-0. Justin Miller now up for the Rockies. Two and one. Two and one on Duda. Got him to swing at a slider. And it's 2-2.
Big sweeping slider from Boone. Right out of the hand. See the red dot on the Subaru Supermo. Long swing from Duda. See ya.
Got him, strike 3. Well done again, Boone Logan. So a leadoff double by David Wright, and he never moved off second base. And the Rockies, as we stretch at Coors Field, enjoying a 3-run advantage on New York. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. 7-4 Colorado. Saturday night crowd. Dealing with the chilly evening. 34,362 in the house. Boone Logan, Gonzalez Germain combining to put down that inning. And now the bottom of the 7th inning, the Rockies will have Cargo leading off, Mark Reynolds and DJ LeMahieu to follow, and Addison Reed is now on the mound for New York.
18th game of the season for Reed. Last time he pitched was in San Diego. Did not make an appearance in the Dodgers series.
Cargo 0 for 3, only position player without a knock tonight. Get out of a slump. Inside, 1-1. Second time this year Cargo's not hitting the 3-hole. He's batting 5th this evening. And this is bounced up the middle. And 1 out. That'll bring up Mark Reynolds, who's 1 for 2 in a walk. He scored a couple runs, had a double back in the second.
We've been talking about play ball weekend. Well, tomorrow the first 10,000 fans through the gates will receive a Colorado Rockies plastic ball and bat set courtesy of MLB Play Ball Weekend. I gotta get here. It's a plastic purple bat with a wiffle ball. Hopefully they'll bring us a few up here in the booth so we can play in between innings. Be a nice day.
That'd be fun. Strike on Reynolds, 0-1. The Rockies' last hit was DJ, a leadoff hit in the 5th inning. The Rockies haven't scored since the 5-run uprising in the 3rd. And that was weird. Mark, I don't know if he tried to call time and just backed out before it was granted by Carlos Torres. Yeah, maybe just, maybe the quick pitch. Either way, it's 0-2. And Reynolds is gone.
We've seen Chris Russin use the quick pitch.
A lot of guys are doing it now.
You see what it did to Mark with that second pitch.
guys that, well, he's the first guy I've seen do it, but the most notable for me in recent memory was LaTroy Hawkins.
Yes.
2 outs, nobody on. DJ in the 7th inning. Carlos Estevez is throwing in the Rockies' pen. Like last year, the Rockies and Mets will play 7 times this year, and like last year, there will be 4 games in New York.
That's towards the end of July. The Rockies will be in Baltimore for the first 3 games on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday through Sunday playing the Mets. The Metropolitans.
Metropolitans. How about this? The Rockies this year, coming into tonight, are 12-10 against teams that are at 500 or above. So they have played well against teams doing well this year. The converse is you say, well, you'd like to pick it up against the teams that are under 500, because the Rockies are playing south of 500 against the teams that are under 500. The Rockies remain the only team to win a series against the Cubs this year, and they did it at Wrigley.
Take 2 at 3 there. You also have a chance tonight. You keep this lead, you have a chance to win 3 straight at home. That's trending in the right direction.
Yep. Cubs, by the way, won again this afternoon, 8-2 over Pittsburgh.
Back-to-back games once this year. That was just recently to San Diego.
Well, the Rockies have cooled off considerably on offense, but they continue to lead 7-4 as we go to the 8th. Performance of the night. Eddie Butler got the start and wasn't as sharp as he's been in his last couple of outings. He goes 5 innings, gives up 4 runs on 9 hits. Did not walk anybody. That was key. And he struck out 3. He is on the plus side of things as the Rockies and Mets go to the top of the 8th inning. And big Carlos Estevez will take over in the 8th. He'll face Neil Walker as Drupal Cabrera and Kevin Plawecki.
Carlos, a strong inning last night. 2 strikeouts, including the last guy he faced in Lucas Duda. 21 pitches, 13 for strikes, and he struck him out at 99 miles an hour.
Ben went an inning and 2/3. Logan struck out the only batter he faced, Duda. Ball 1. Walker's 3 for 3, couple singles and a home run. So the Rockies a dozen runs in these first 2 games against the Mets, but they've yet to hit a home run in the series. One and two.
Walker tonight, all 3 of his hits have been from the left side, but he came in just hitting .237 left-handed.
Got him. Blew him by. Just blew it by him at 96. 1 out in the 8th inning.
Notice where Tony Walters sets up. He sets up high. He wants the ball up there, and Carlos hits his spot just perfectly.
That'll bring up Cabrera. Nothing for 3 tonight. '97 from Carlos. One of the things I noticed, we mentioned earlier in the ball game that the Rockies, instead of hitting out on the field today, they took infield outfield, full on infield outfield, and a full battery of PFP, pitcher fielding practice, a bunt defense, and making sure they get over on balls to the right side. At the end of it, as this is popped up, easy play for Nolan. At the end of it, you know, all the pitchers are lined up because they went, the PFP portion of it was the last part of the defensive workout. Carlos Estevez went to every one of his teammates, just a workout, went to every one of his teammates. You know the same thing, and he gave a glove high five, and you want to make sure he got everybody. You know, it's the kind of thing you expect out of a veteran guy, the togetherness of the pitchers, the camaraderie of the pitchers. It was this guy.
But I think it just shows you the love of the game. Yeah. I mean, because, yeah, they're practicing, but he was still saying, I'm in the big leagues. This is an honor, a privilege. I'm going to work hard, but I'm going to reward my teammates. I'm going to say hi to you, going to give you a glove pump, and all of that. To me, just observing, you and I were standing at the same spot. What did it do to us? It brought a smile to our face.
Sure. We talk sometimes, and I've asked you, I've asked Spilly, Corey Sullivan, and past George Frazier, you know, who are your favorite teammates? What constituted a good teammate?
That does.
Something like that, right?
Exactly.
He's all about team.
He's all about we, not I.
2-0's fouled off. And I can tell you this much, his manager's fallen in love with him. And
he's giving him another chance tonight.
Lot to like. 2-1 with 2 outs on Plawecki. I mean, it's unfair. You got to get geared up for a guy who throws almost 100. But then he spins that at you.
So he struck out Neil Walker at 96, comes back with an 83-mile-an-hour slider. You can't cover that much. You can't cover a 13-mile-an-hour variance.
2-2.
Right on the corner on the black of the Subaru strike zone.
Got it. Just blew him away. 2 punch outs in a 1-2-3 8th inning for Carlos Estevez. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Yeah, give him a standing ovation. The Rockies lead at 7-4. Nasty. then we'll see a pinch hitter. It'll be Ryan Rayburn and Charlie Blackmon. And the Mets have gone to their bullpen once again. The veteran left-hander Antonio Bastardo, former Philly, is on.
Working on 3 days rest. Pitched against the Dodgers on the 10th. 1 inning, gave up a hit, 1 walk, but has only allowed a couple earned runs over his last 12 1/3. And now with the double switch, Rene Rivera goes behind the plate. He'll hit 9th in the order.
Walters tries to lay down a bunt with right behind the bag. Tony, a single and a 2-run double, 2 for 3. This was a huge play in the game. It was a 2-1 ball game at that point in time. And Terry Collins got run because it was called a foul tip. Didn't look like he contacted. It would have been a 3rd strike. Then a couple pitches later, he unloaded a 2-run double.
Yeah, because if he strikes out, that's the 2nd out of that inning, and Eddie comes up right after him. About a ball and a half out of the Subaru strike zone.
One and 2 on Walters. Tony fouls that one off.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is now available. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices.
Mentioned Ryan Rayburn's going to pinch hit. Here's Ryan. Pops out of the mid of Rivera. Bastardo from the Dominican. Rockies, with the win last night, have won consecutive games at home for just the 2nd time this year. They won 3 in a row. They're trying to match that early in the season when they beat the Giants twice, and then the first game of a series against the Dodgers. 7 for Colorado, bottom of 8. Jake McGee up and getting ready to pitch the 9th inning for Colorado. It's 10 out of 12 in save opportunities. There's Big Jake. And this ball chopped towards second, and good range by Walker. 1 out. All right, I'm saying that the temperature gauge has frozen on 52 degrees. We haven't heard from Spilly in like 2 hours.
He's frozen down by the dugout.
I am frozen.
Hey, Spilly, I have an extra pair of gloves up here.
Harry, it is the Rocky Mountains.
You got it.
Yeah,
Is this not the coldest 52-degree night you've ever felt?
Yeah, this is not 52 degrees. If this is 52 degrees, this is the boys of summer. It's more like the boys of frostbite. That one's been broken for a long time, too.
Not buying any of those thermometers.
No.
Here's Rayburn. And a sinking line drive to center, and Ryan Rayburn continues to feast on left-handed pitching. Pinch single, and that's the Rockies' first base runner since a leadoff single by LeMahieu in the 5th.
The 4th hit for Ryan, pinch hitting, 4 for 12.
bring up Blackman. 1 for 3 and a walk tonight. 2-run single back in the third to improve his hitting streak to 11 games. Jorge De La Rosa made another rehab start against Round Rock tonight for Albuquerque. He threw over 90 pitches with just 3 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. On Charlie. 7 runs, 12 hits and an error for the Rockies. 4 runs, 12 hits and error for the Mets. Rockies trying to get back to 500. New York's 21 and 14 in the National League East.
Mets fell a game behind the Washington Nationals in the standings. It's a home run cut from Charlie.
And right now the National League East has 4 teams over 500 because Philadelphia has really been a surprise. They're 21 and 15. Miami is 18 and 16, and then there's Atlanta at 8-26.
They have 2 wins at home now.
Yep. 2 and 17. They shut out Kansas City tonight, 5-0, but that was in Kansas City. Rockies division. Rockies began the day in the West, a game and a half behind the Dodgers and Giants. Arizona 3 back. The Padres began the day 3.5 back. 2-1 on Charlie. And Blackman pops it up. David Wright, with the wind taking it to foul ground, makes the catch.
Tougher play than what you thought off the bat.
Who Wants Tacos fans, follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special, and the Rockies score 7 or more runs. 2 outs, Rayburn at first, and that'll bring up Trevor Story.
Tacos tomorrow with the 7 runs tonight.
Story doubled and scored in the first. He singled in the third. 2 for 4. Got the average at 281. Rookie of the month in the National League in April, as if that was in question. Not having a bad May either.
Good young shortstops in all of baseball. Carlos Correa in the American League. I mean, here you had Trevor, Kyle, or
Lindor,
Seager in LA. Not Kyle Seager.
Corey Seager.
Corey Seager. Kyle's with Seattle. He's third baseman. I got him.
So Story goes to first. That pushes Rayburn to second and will allow Nolan Arenado to hit here in the 8th.
Flips the arm guard on the left elbow of Trevor.
Nolan tonight had an RBI ground out in the first, singled and scored in the third. 1 for 4. He lined to center field in his last AB. He scored 30 runs this year, which leads the National League. He's driven in 32. That leads the National League. And a ground ball to right, and he just did get to the bag in front of Rayburn. So we'll go to the 9th inning. The Rockies leading 7-4, looking for 3 more outs.
That means we're getting ready for the Toyota post-game show out in center field. Hello, everyone. Jenny Kapner with Corey Sullivan. Ryan Spielborgs will be in the clubhouse for interviews, hopefully for a Rockies win. They've now put together 3 consecutive great performances at home.
They did a great job extending ABs tonight. And while Eddie Butler wasn't at his best or extremely efficient, he should be very proud of his performance competing against a team like the New York Mets like he did.
I'm also not a meteorologist, Drew, Jeff, and Spilly. However, I have looked up some data for you. I think that the thermometers are broken as well. It says 47 on my phone, but it feels like 42.
Yeah.
And your phone is never wrong.
Never wrong.
No.
And that's not a wind tunnel out there either.
No,
Not
it's
at
not
all.
a wind
It's not
tunnel.
at all.
Oh, and we're still not missing our heater.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. We are missing our heater.
It's still up
That's
there keeping them warm.
with them.
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
We're fine.
You
Don't
got
worry
it
about
all
us.
right.
We're good.
And we're okay too. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you guys in a few. It's also time for our CenturyLink. Link to what's next as Jake McGee takes the mound for the Rockies. Tomorrow's matchup, Tyler Chatwood and Jacob deGrom. For deGrom, he's 3-1 with a 2.12 ERA, and Chatwood 3.09 ERA. And for Tyler, he'll be making his 8th start of the year. That's quite a Sunday matchup, Chatwood and deGrom. But first things first, the Rockies need 3 more outs, and they'll turn to Jake McGee again, looking for his 11th save.
His 10th game last night, clean inning, 2 strikeouts, 13 pitches thrown, 11 of them for strikes.
And this is Rene Rivera. And Rivera hits it in the air down the right field line. Cargo is going to run out of real estate. Nice play.
I say, you always have to bring your glove. You never know when you might have that chance.
Rivera just 1 for 11. Granderson and David Wright to follow.
He
And
went. Check him. So I didn't no need to check him.
No.
Okay.
0-2.
That's an easy one to call. A lot of body, and then the barrel still traveling too.
And this is going to drop in front of Cargo in right field. So a broken bat single for Rivera to lead off the ninth.
Well, fans, mini plan started just 8 games and $111, and they'll guarantee the Yankees and summer fireworks games with the 15-game pick-up plan. just unfortunate for Jake. Broke the bat of Rivera. Just strong enough to just bloop it into right field.
Granderson's 0 for 4. Curveball for a strike. Granderson, look it up, has some history with McGee.
Yeah, 1 for 10 against Jake.
Played in the same division for a long time when Granderson was with the Yankees and McGee was with Tampa. One and one. Reynolds at first playing behind Rivera, gives himself a little more room defensively. See if the Rockies can turn this one over. There's one on to first. Safe. Well, Granderson can still run.
Just not hit hard enough for DJ or Trevor.
Mark Reynolds is looking in the dugout. And now Tony Walters looking in there. Rockies and Brian Jones will take a look at this.
So DJ gets it, the underhand flip. Trevor comes across the bag. Strong throw.
Looks like Granderson beat it.
Gets the front part of the bag like you're taught. Get there faster, and he did. Put on the bag, then the ball in the glove. Just beat it by an eyelash.
David Wright is 2 for 4, single and a double for Wright. And beat Wright with a fastball there. Now Tony Walters wants to come out.
Unlike Granderson with a lot of history, David Wright not much history at all. Just one other time facing Jake, 0 for 1.
Adam Ottavino, who told through, he's been throwing bullpens through a bullpen the other day. And evidently it was extraordinary, which is good news. He's not coming back in the very near future, somewhere probably around the All-Star break. But that was good news. 1 and 2.
Some people are saying it's one of the best bullpens they've ever seen. That's high praise for a guy that's coming off of Tommy John surgery.
One and 2 on Wright. 1 out in the 9th. The Rockies +3 on the scoreboard. Fastball in at 95. Boy, in a perfect world, obviously you get Wright, and then you have Conforto left on left, and you go shake hands.
Right. You don't want Cespedes to come to the plate, but if he does, that's the scary part. But get these two guys and don't worry about it.
2-2. Now it runs full, 3 and 2.
It looked like Jake just slowed his arm action down on that curveball.
For a hitter's a dead giveaway. It's off speed. Big pitch here, 3 and 2 on Wright. Got it. 2 outs in the 9th.
said, I'm not going to mess around with the curveball. I'm going to challenge him man against man. Here's the fastball, hit it if you can, and he didn't even come close to that real late on the swing.
And Wright, you know, sometimes lifts, sometimes will just toe up, and with 2 strikes, you went with the toe up, and he was still tardy. So with 2 outs, here's Conforto. Granderson at first. 7-4 Colorado. Ball 1. Missed on the curveball. Conforto a single back in the first. 1 for 4 tonight. Granderson takes off, but it's a ground ball to second. DJ's got it. Ball game over. And the Rockies have taken the first 2 from the Mets. 7-4 tonight after a 5-2 victory on Friday night. And the Rockies are back to 500 at 18-18. The Mets dropped to 21-15. Eddie Butler gets the victory. He's 2-1. Jason Verrett takes the loss. He's 3-1. And for Jake McGee, his 11th save already here in 2016. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game, supplied by the Rockies catcher Tony Walters. We go back to that 3rd inning. There's a knock, first of all, earlier in the ball game. Then in the 3rd inning, he unloads a bases-loaded double to deep right center field that scored 2 runs. A 2 for 4 night for Walters, 6 RBIs in his last 6 games, as he's been pressed into regular duty in the absence of Nick Hundley. It's all good at Coors Field tonight as the Rockies prevail over the Mets. 7-4 the final. Let's get you to a chilly center field set. Here's Jenny and Corey. Jenny?
All right, Drew, thanks so much. It is chilly out.